What's going on, guys? It's your boy. Welcome back to another video. Today, we're going to be doing something fun and exciting. Well, I think it's fun and exciting. The last Mission Impossible movie is going to be out in theaters, and I'm actually going to be going and seeing it soon. But I came to the realization I've seen Mission Impossible kind of in pieces all throughout my life. Like, I've watched parts of different movies with different friends and stuff like that, and I can't really tell you what events happen in which movies necessarily, but I do know for a fact I don't think I've ever seen the first Mission Impossible movie. So before I go and see the last one, I'm literally going to watch the first one and give you guys my honest thoughts and opinions and review of it as somebody who has never seen it but has kind of seen the highlights of it. So let's dive into this, shall we?
Watch, oh, it's Watch List Wednesday.
I'll add it to the list.
And oh my god, that was a really great start to this franchise. First off, I want to say one of my favorite things probably about this movie as a whole, I like the fact that they decided to start this movie off by killing off pretty much the entire team that he was working with. That was a really great way to start the movie. It immediately set up stakes like, oh my god, anybody can die at any given moment. This is a very like adult franchise, and I liked that. The Mission Impossible theme song music, oh my god, that is insanely iconic, and I absolutely love it. And just all throughout this movie, there's a lot of incredible sound design that I do really like. And with that opening sequence where we're watching his team try to take this first mission where they're trying to collect the disc or whatever, I like the fact that they do not shy away from showing us some of the very gruesome death sequences. I think the character's name is Jack. I might be getting that wrong, but the guy who was in the elevator shaft who was like hacking for them, his death sequence, I was expecting to kind of cut away and then us be kind of like how Tom Cruise's character, he just is hearing what happens. No, we gruesomely see that. Oh man, that was terrifying. I loved that. I thought that was really good. Another thing that I really like about this movie, this is before CGI really got super advanced, so a lot of different sequences are practical and you can really feel it. I love the peeling the face off. I know that becomes like a very big staple of this franchise, and I think the multiple times it happens in this movie is great. And I like that it actually had to practically be some mask that Tom Cruise himself can actually put on. And for the most part, the acting in this movie is absolutely fantastic. When I made my review for Mission Impossible, The Dead Reckoning Part 1, when it came out a couple years ago, I had mentioned that that's the first Tom Cruise movie I've ever seen. I've still only seen a couple of Tom Cruise movies since then, and yeah, he is absolutely insane. His charisma is dialed into 100 in this movie, and he's just absolutely a delight to watch. And like his running, fantastic. His running form is actually absolutely incredible, and just overall his presence on screen is so captivating. Almost every single time he is on the screen, he's like a force to be watching. And I do genuinely understand the people who in the last 5 or 6 years have been like, we don't have any big movie stars, Tom Cruise is like our only big movie stars. And I'm always like trying to wrap my head around, I'm like, Tom Cruise is just an actor. I'm getting it more and more with every single other movie that I see with him. He's absolutely fantastic in this, and I love overall just watching him go through losing pretty much everything and realizing, oh my god, they think that he's behind everything and that he's a mole in the organization, and him having to go rogue. And I really like this because watching Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning, when I watched it, I didn't fully understand the character that much, but I could understand that he's somebody who doesn't like to play by the rules, and he does that so much throughout this movie. And I really like it because he has his own morals, and even though, you know, there's specific things he's supposed to do for the betterment of the mission, he's going to do what he wants to do, and he's going to follow his heart. And he understands that this getting out is going to put so many different people's lives in danger, and he's not going to let that happen. He is a true hero, even if it means potentially risking his life and potentially risking the lives of the people around him. I think that that's really cool. I love the Mission Impossible sequence where they're breaking into the facility and trying to steal is that a hard drive? I can't remember exactly what was going on with that sequence, if I'm being totally honest with you. That's part of the reason I haven't gone back to watch these movies, is for them at the time, some of this technology that they're using is like groundbreaking technology, but for me, it's so old that I don't know what it is. But that being said, the sequence where they have to lower him down and entirely just everything with them going into whatever that building was with the secret safe and the vault where everything needs to be below a specific decibel and the temperature needs to be a specific thing so that they can get this code. I think that entire sequence is so brilliant, so well done. I love the way that they're slowly able to build the tension throughout that scene and just the overall anxiety and like watching the sweat drip down his face. And it is great. They do such a good job of making us feel the emotions that he's feeling in that scene. And I like the fact that you can kind of already sense some of the tension between him and his teammate that he's working with in that sequence. And they do a great job of planting seeds in this movie that, like, you can try to figure out who the mole is and who is potentially going to be on the bad guy's side with this film. And they do a really good job with it. Like, I think that it's great because it's not necessarily like a very obvious thing, but it is one of those things where it's like, and nowadays in movies, it probably ruined this because nowadays in a movie, if you don't see somebody die on screen, you can kind of like assume that they didn't actually die. So there's a couple of characters like that where it's like in the first sequence where I believe his name is Jim, the guy who's secretly the bad guy and orchestrated this whole thing. When he dies and you never see a body, that to me is always like a red flag. So I didn't necessarily think that he faked his death, but when they were getting to the point where they were kind of revealing that he wasn't actually dead, I was like, okay, he's evil. That makes sense. He's the person who's doing all these twists and stuff like that. And I like the fact that Tom Cruise's character discovered that. And then later in the movie, there's a sequence where he's having a conversation with Jim after he knows that Jim is kind of the guy who did all these evil things, and he's probably the reason why his entire team from the first mission is dead. And he's able to look him in the face and have like a genuine conversation with him, pretending like he doesn't know that he's the one who did it. And I like the way that we get to see the different scenes playing out, seeing different versions of what could have potentially happened on that night. I thought that was really cool. And I think for the most part, the action in this movie is also really fantastic. All the stuff on the bullet train is cool. The sequence with the helicopter threading the needle into the tunnel was sick. I was not expecting that. I thought for sure that character was just going to crash into the tunnel and that was going to be it. But everything leading up to that was fantastic. And overall, I just think that this movie is a thrill ride of a film. And it definitely holds up the test of time. I think that all the fun different gadgets and stuff that they're testing out, the gum, I think is a really cool like first gadget to kind of include in this movie. And I think that you can definitely see this becoming a bigger franchise throughout this film because like the spycraft of it all, the world building of it all, the whole like concept of like you going on a plane and then being like, do you want to watch a movie? And then that being how you pick up your missions. That's really interesting. I like that. And just the secrecy of it all. They do a really good job of creating this kind of spycraft world that you just want to live in and be a part of. So overall, I really enjoyed this movie. I think that it was spectacular. And I'm looking forward to potentially watching all of them so I could potentially rank all of them. I really liked this movie. I had a really good time with it. And yeah, that was it for this video, guys. If you guys liked it, feel free to like and subscribe, and I'll hopefully see you guys in the next one. Peace out. Pow, pow, pow.